All right, this just in, more Call of Duty League news. We have OpTic Texas announcing their departure from Dan Ghosty as well as Huke towards this offseason, or once we got closer to the offseason, these rumors started to pop out. I think we knew that they were going to move away from Huke and try to upgrade that role, but the Dan Ghosty situation was a little bit unclear. So now they are both gone, both free agents here. I think Hook, we'll go ahead and start with Hook. I think Hook, the way that he played and reuniting him with Shotzi, I think was a great opportunity for OpTic to get better. They went ahead and brought in Hook after Scump retired, after they tried to get Pred, and that kind of fell through. So they bring in Hook. I think Hook's like style of gameplay really the thought of it resonated well with OpTic Texas, but I just think as far as the consistency of his play style, it just wasn't really there. I think when they had lackluster performances, I think Hook was kind of the easiest guy to point at and just being, saying that he just didn't perform very well. I also think that when Hook played really well, this team dominated. They were very, very dominant. And I think Hook's just style of gameplay, the way that he plays, there's only very, very minimal type of SMG players that play like him. I think you have fast SMG players that are always in your mouth, getting in front of you. And take a guy like Kismet. I think he plays that role really, really well and it works out. And I think Hook just was way too inconsistent when it came down to playing that way. And when he wasn't performing in series, I think he kept trying to do it instead of just take a step back and play more as a role player and team player. So moving OpTic Texas moving away from Hook, I don't think that comes as big surprise. Moving on to Dan Ghosty, he was brought in, he's rookie from Challengers. I think he played very, very well despite the role that they kind of threw him in. I think his gameplay was secondary to what he did on the map. We've talked about this a lot, but kind of reiterating the point that, he was brought in to be a leader, to kind of navigate these guys, make call outs based on the kill feed, let the team know that so and so is the last guy alive, go find him. So I do think that, when you look at kind of Dan Gosey's stats and where he was, I don't think that that's really, really what he was there to do. I think Dashy's role was more of the kind of killer role, and Dan Ghosty kind of was more objective and playing that leadership role. With that being said, we now have an AR spot and SMG spot open for OpTic Texas. There's been rumors that they've talked to Pred. There's been rumors that they've talked to Envoy and Draza. Who knows what angle and where this team goes. They continuously make changes every single season, so we'll see if this next change is going to make a difference for them kind of making it back. We'll go ahead and look at Ghosty went ahead and tweeted, "This rookie season was an insane opportunity, and I couldn't have been more blessed to have been a part of the Green Wall. It truly was an honor to represent OpTic on the biggest stage, and thank you, Hex, for the chance. With that being said, I am unrestricted free agent for next year." Like I said, I do think both of these guys will find a place within the CDL. I do want to point this out about Dan Ghosty, though. I think there's kind of been mixed emotions about, him getting his first opportunity with OpTic, and you have the Green Wall, and you have that. His viewers went from, I think, 100 or 200 to thousands right after he signed, and he kind of was able to maintain that throughout the year. A lot of people are kind of saying that, like, maybe it wasn't in his best interest to join a team like OpTic straight out the gate, straight out of being a rookie. But I will say, I think that the way that he shined with, I know the team didn't have success. I do think Ghosty was probably OpTic's best player towards the end of the season, especially in the champs run, where, I think guys like Dashy kind of underperformed based on their performance all season. Gotti had a lackluster performance, and I think Dan Ghosty, as far as just being consistent for them, kind of held it down. But I will say that I do think that him getting a shot with OpTic first season and them, not finding the most success, but individually, I think he found success. And I think that that's going to take him in the right direction, kind of moving forward. I think if Dan Ghosty was to be put on, let's say, a London Royal Ravens or a Minnesota Rocker, and as a whole team, they all had, all didn't perform well. I think his future would be a little bit more unstable. But I think him getting the opportunity with OpTic and as a team they didn't play well, but he kind of had good individual performance. So I do think that that'll carry him and potentially put him on a top tier team without having to kind of go to the mid tier, lower tier teams within the league. And then we have Huke, unrestricted free agent for the upcoming season. There you go. So now that these guys are released, there could be news coming out as far as who OpTic Texas decides to pick up. And maybe we'll see that soon. But as for now, that's what we got. Let me know your thoughts as far as what you think about the moves, and let me know who you think OpTic should go ahead and pick up for these two roles.